Hello, you beautiful people. So, I know the current beta has been really dry and there's been almost nothing exciting, but today, we finally got the Dahlia's V3 kit changes, and I'm just guessing that you probably clicked on this video because you're interested in what changed, right? Well, lucky for you, you've landed on the perfect video to get that info. Today, I will be going over everything that changed in the Dahlia's kit for the V3 changes cycle. Along with this, I read a lot of comments yesterday, and many of you were asking how big of a boost she is for Firefly, Rappa, and Boothill, so I'll also be answering that as we will go over all three of them one by one. Honestly, for me, I was already pretty happy with her V1 kit as it's almost perfect, and after the V3 changes, well, I won't spoil the changes for now, but I still think her kit is in a very solid spot. If you're planning to pull for any of the new characters though, you might want to check out Lubar because on this site you can save up to a total of 25% on all your purchases. To give an example, I'll buy this 3280 Nyrix Shard pack for $43, and this same pack costs me about $50 from the in-game shop. You can see that it's cheaper, right? For the top-up process, just enter your UID in this box and choose your respective server depending on your account. After waiting for a few minutes, I received my Jades with the double top-up bonus because it was my first purchase. If you use my link, which is in the description or the pinned comment though, you can get an extra 10% off on top of all the other discounts. Alright, let me just mention the usual disclaimer that this version of the Dahlia's kit is not the final one, and there is a slight possibility that her kit will get more changes in the upcoming weeks as it's not set in stone, so take all this info with a grain of salt. With that being said, let's begin without wasting any more of your time or energy. So for starters, let's go over some minor changes, and after that we'll take a look at the major changes made to her kit. First of all, they changed one of her minor traces, and honestly, this is a pretty positive change as they removed her extra 10% HP from this trace and changed it with extra 5 speed. Overall, it is a buff because HP is basically a useless stat for the Dahlia, and this extra 5 speed can help you reach some specific breakpoints, especially considering getting more turns for her is really important to get her ultimate up as fast as possible, since it is a really key part of her kit and is directly tied to how fast you can build her to be. Secondly, the Dahlia did actually receive a small nerf to her ultimate, with it getting a 33% toughness damage reduction. Now, this kind of sucks because she is literally supposed to be a break-oriented support, but generally it isn't too big of a deal, as most of her toughness contribution comes from her skill and follow-up attack anyways. Overall, this does hurt her damage and toughness reduction contribution just a little bit, but I think the extra speed makes up for it. Finally, the biggest change of them all was basically a direct buff to Firefly. So, the Dahlia's third trace was the one that lets fire characters regain energy when implanting a weakness during an attack. I think most of you probably remember that trace, because I did mention it during her kit explanation video. Now, this trace is basically solely for Firefly as she doesn't gain energy in her ultimate state, so she kind of really desperately needs this trace to fix her terrible ultimate form / SAM uptime. What I didn't expect is for them to additionally add buffs for her in this trace too. Essentially what changed is that now whenever a weakness is implanted during an attack, there will be a fixed 20 toughness damage additionally done after it happens. I know this doesn't sound like much, but it's actually really good as extra scaling damage, because the super break damage scales directly based off the toughness damage dealt. This change basically makes it so that Firefly deals about 110 toughness damage instead of just 90 with her enhanced skill, which ends up being quite a big damage increase, with it being around an 11% buff in her best team. Overall, this change alone should help her actually go back to being a top-tier DPS, especially with the rumors of her also getting a Nova Flare soon. Don't worry too much for the other break characters though, as the Dahlia's kit was already pretty much perfect for both Rappa and Boothill. I mean, she literally has no real energy issues, good buffing, and solid personal damage, so even if only Firefly got buffs for this beta update, she's still an extremely powerful character for anyone and everyone that deals break damage, and I expect her to stay this strong in the next couple of weeks too. Anyways, with that, we're done taking a look at all the changes made to the Dahlia's kit during the latest cycle. Her Eidolons did see some changes as well, with her E2 and E6 getting a slight buff, but even then, her E1 is still her best Eidolon by far, and if you're planning to invest in her, I would advise you to just get her E1 and stop pulling unless you're a whale, because if you are, well, thanks a lot for funding HSR. As I've said before, I'm personally very content with the current state of her kit, but I'm curious about how you guys feel about her current kit. Also, I didn't mention it before as it gets annoying, but if you liked the video, then do consider subscribing. With that being said, I love y'all and I will see you in another one.